So today we're diving into the core ideas of Jordan Peterson, and we're not just looking at them as psychology, but really as a kind of philosophical map, a guide for how to get through the tough parts of life. It's a framework he's built using myth, science, and some pretty direct observations about, well, being human.
You know, when you really boil it down, Peterson's entire body of work seems to be an attempt to answer one massive question. In a world that's so full of uncertainty and suffering and just plain chaos, how do we find a way to move forward? What's the antidote to all of that?
See, for Peterson, the starting line isn't some happy-go-lucky optimism. It's realism. He starts with this really foundational idea: suffering isn't some kind of accident or a bug in the system. Nope, it's a fundamental, unavoidable part of being alive. And his whole point is, if you want to build a meaningful life, you first have to look that truth right in the eye and accept it.
Okay, so if life is full of suffering, how are we supposed to make sense of the world we're in? What's the lay of the land? Well, Peterson offers a map, a way of looking at reality that's split into two huge fundamental forces: order and chaos.
And this duality, this split, is right at the heart of his entire framework. On one side, you've got order. That's everything we know, everything that's structured and safe. Think traditions, your daily routine, the rules of society. And on the other side, that's chaos. The great unknown, the unexpected, the place of pure potential for both wonderful and terrible things.
Let's zoom in on order first. This is the world of predictability. It's the comfort of your home, right? The stability of your job, all the social rules that let us get along. It's absolutely essential for our survival and our sanity. But, and this is a really crucial point, too much order gets stiff and oppressive. It stops growing. It can become its own kind of tyranny.
And then, of course, you've got chaos. Chaos is what comes rushing in when a tragedy hits, or when you're suddenly thrown into a brand new situation you don't understand. It's where anxiety and fear come from. But it's also where everything new comes from. Creativity, discovery, growth, opportunity, all of it is born in chaos. It's where we have to go to learn.
So what's the big takeaway here? The ideal place to be isn't hiding completely inside the safe walls of order, and it's not being lost out in the hurricane of chaos. He argues that a healthy, meaningful, and productive life is lived right on the edge, on the border between the two. You've got one foot in what's secure and known, and one foot in the unknown, always adapting, always learning.
All right, so if the goal is to walk that tightrope between order and chaos, how do you actually do it? What's your guide? What's the compass that keeps you pointed in the right direction? For Peterson, the answer is actually really simple and really personal. It all starts with individual responsibility.
You've probably heard this one, right? It's often boiled down to clean your room, and it's maybe his most famous piece of advice. But the idea isn't literally about tidiness. It's a powerful metaphor for taking control of the things you actually can control. Before you try to solve the massive, complex problems of the world, first focus on mastering your own life, your own mind, your immediate surroundings.
And this builds into a really practical, bottom-up strategy for life. First, you start with yourself. You confront your own flaws and weaknesses head-on. Then, you start to fix the things that are right in front of you, the things within your grasp, your relationships, your work, your health. By getting that small domain in order, you build real competence, which then allows you to take on bigger and bigger problems.
Now, working hand in hand with responsibility is another tool that's just as vital for this journey, a pretty radical commitment to truth. And we're not just talking about not telling lies to other people. It's about orienting your entire life towards what is real and true.
The way Peterson frames it, deceit, especially self-deceit, is like a poison. He argues that every lie you tell, every time you pretend to believe something you don't, it weakens your character. It distorts your perception of reality. You end up building your life on a weak foundation that's just going to crumble the moment a real crisis hits. You're basically inviting chaos.
So what's the antidote to that poison? Well, it's to commit yourself to the truth. Or, as he often says, at the very least, don't lie. Don't say things you know to be false. This simple rule acts like a course correction. It keeps your personal map of the world accurate, and it helps you build a character that's strong enough to actually face reality as it is. And it's so important to get this deeper definition of truth he's using. For Peterson, this isn't just about getting empirical facts right. Truthful speech is more of an ethical orientation. It's about aiming your words and your actions towards the highest good you can imagine. It's a way of being in the world that tries to make things better, not worse.
Okay, so let's recap for a second. We have our map of reality, order and chaos. We have our compass to navigate it, responsibility and truth. But what's the destination? What's the whole point of all this hard work? Well, it's the search for meaning.
And this is a really key distinction in his work. The goal of life isn't happiness. Happiness is great, but it's fleeting, it's unreliable. The real goal, the thing that can get you through the suffering, is meaning. And meaning, in this framework, comes from one place: voluntarily picking up a burden, voluntarily adopting responsibility. That's what makes the struggle worthwhile.
And this quote just cuts right to the heart of that idea. Meaning isn't found by avoiding difficult things, it's found by seeking out the biggest, most important problem you can handle and dedicating yourself to it. It's about finding a burden that is worth carrying.
So, to tie it all together, the idea is that you start by acknowledging that life involves suffering. You learn to navigate the world, walking that line between order and chaos. You use personal responsibility and a commitment to truth as your guides. And by doing all that, by voluntarily choosing a difficult path, you discover the one thing that can sustain you through all of it: a deep, profound sense of meaning.
And that leaves us with a final question to think about, a really personal one that this entire philosophy points to. Looking at your own life right now, what responsibility, what challenge is waiting for you to voluntarily accept? What is the burden that, if you chose to pick it up and bear it, would make all the struggle worthwhile?